Hello and welcome to Cityscape Townscape Thumbnails. We are going to do 4 different kinds of thumbnails for this assignment towards creating the cityscape and townscape. And there's 4 basic kinds that I want you to do. One is a detail, which is where you draw a car, a building, a tree, architectural element, a bus, fountain, stairs, something that you are interested in having in your thing, but that you and would like to study it. Another kind is a reproduction, where you take a photo and you basically reproduce what is in the photo or what you're looking at if you're doing it from life. The third is invention, where you are maybe taking different aspects of details and reproductions and putting them back together into a unique image that you're inventing. It could also be an idea that you have which you've never even seen before. The only litmus test for that is that it has to actually look as if it could be real, not some fantasy weirdness. So proportions based on known forms are really key. And then the fourth is the prototype, and this is the last step. This is a larger thumbnail that like the Uber thumbnail, which is going to be closest to your big final image. It's kind of a way of taking on the big final image in a detailed way before you're blowing it up really big. It should take 1/4 the time, but you could also get most of the impact. So that's what we're taking on here. So I want to tell you how to approach some here. Here is an image of this is a 2-point perspective with a flat facing, so this face is flat. And so if I wanted to do this building and just reproduce it, then down here is a small kind of diagram of how to do that. This is my basic proportions of the boundary of the image. And then where the horizon line is always where the photographer is, which is standing at street level. That's the eye level line, and that's down here. Then I just drew in the facing, which is here, and then estimated the angles going off to the horizon line to find my vanishing points. Okay, so that the building's angling up here and angling down there, basically. And then it's just a matter of gridding from there clearly with a ruler or freehand if you feel confident with it, so that you can start getting all this complexity easily in a freehand way. So my suggestion would be to maybe do it with a ruler or freehand, but to once you get to drawing in these things, just allow these guidelines to show you where the straight line is. You just say, well, there it is, it's going right along that, and that's the whole point of the grid, is so that you can be more freehand with it. Another one is, let's see, here's another situation where this is, I think, in San Francisco, and there's Golden Gate Bridge or some bridge. I don't know. Well, maybe. I think it is. But the situation here is that we're on a hill. We're up high. The building, if you look where the horizon line is, it's right about right here, where the flat line goes here. This is angling down, this is angling up, and right in the middle, right there, is the horizon line, which actually tends to be almost at the water line as well, right here. I had it different down here, but it's close. So this is what I'm having my horizon line. I said the water line was down there. I'd probably raise the water line up a little bit. Here's the bridge where it comes above that. Then there's the mountain line. So just these different lines here aren't indicating where the horizon line is. You got to follow these convergence lines to where they intersect, or find a flat line that shows you where it's at. So that said, that's where all the buildings are going, to that horizon line point there. But we're on a hill here, so the hill is not parallel to level, and it's going down. So I just was guesstimating by following like the truck line and car lines down to that the horizon, the vanishing point is down here somewhere for this hill. So in other words, I've got another almost like a fake horizon line here, and all these cars on the hill and the truck would be going to that vanishing point. And so that's how we get the illusion of, oh yes, this is going down to a hill, but no, this is going straight off into the distance. Then we get that sense of hill. It's reversed. If the hill's going up, then the horizon line would be above the regular ground plane horizon line. Okay, so here are a couple that I did. So this one is kind of more of a detail. I'm not trying to get all the elements in terms of streets and lights and signs and cars and everything like that, but I'm like, I want to do a bridge maybe. And so I'm again just finding out, and where's the image right here. Here's the image, and I pretty much reproduced it fairly faithfully. I think it's Rio de Janeiro, based on this tall golden statue in the distance. But all I'm doing is say, well, where's the horizon line? And again, it's finding out where's the photographer's level at. And I do it intuitively. It's not really that hard. It's when things are going towards, this way, or buildings start going down this way, then you know they have to be in the middle someplace there. So that's where I had it right here. And then the angle of the bridge where it intersects with the horizon line right there. And then here I just sort of guessed where it was. I followed the bridge thing here and the building lines until they came to a vanishing point there. The interesting thing I want to point out about this thing is that reflections keep following the perspective grid line. So there's the perspective grid line here from this vanishing point, and this bridge is doing that. But then this bridge in the water is still doing exactly where the grid is going. Also, for an arch, I'm finding the center of this by taking some sort of rectangular prism shape and doing an X in it. Probably best to use a ruler there. And there's the center of it. So then I know how to work my arc like that. Yeah, so there's the detail. This was more of, this I'd say is like prototype level. I want your prototype to look to this level. Where I started was where this red line was. That was my original border. And the first thing I said is loose borders. So I wrote that before I enlarged the thing to this scale, because I was doing this thing right here, and then I was like, well, I want to try to fulfill the specs of the assignment, which are have roads and stoplights and stop signs and sidewalks. So what I'm going to do is do this side of the thing, and which I kind of did here, pretty much faithfully. And then I'm going to take some inspiration for from the buildings here, like this is kind of like that, and these arched things are this, and these upper things here, I did that, and this building back there. But then I said, okay, I'm going to put a roadway, like as if it's going right over the river, alongside of it. Then I'm going to place myself someplace as viewer, and I'm going to put myself on another crossing bridge over here. So I'm not just hovering midair. This is just a design decision. And then I started to say, well, I need more sidewalks and cross streets so I can have stoplights and things like that. And then I started coming up with this. So this is an invention. You could invent something like this in a much more loose manner. It could be much sloppier. You don't need all your thumbnails do not need to go to this level of detail and clarity, but the prototype does. It needs to be to this level. Okay, let's see where we're at. Oh, it's still going. Amazing. Okay, so One thing to notice, and I think we've discussed this before, is this was largely one-point perspective. With one-point perspective, come back. With one-point perspective, there's if there's anything curving, like on a river or a canal or some streets curve, your vanishing points are going to change according to the buildings. Now this is pretty much straight most of the way. This road curves, so I point that out for that reason. Sometimes you'll find situations like that, and if you look at this, there's more of this has vanishing points over here, and then these buildings are curving, so their vanishing points are over here, you see. So this does not share the same vanishing points as these over here, which go further this way. And it's because there's a curve in the river. But they all share the same horizon line. Okay, so just to always use the grid. I want you to review the videos that I taped for the links that I have up on Moodle of this week's assignment for the game space. There's 2 videos that really explain the grid. Use the grids. They make your life easy. They make it work. It's what you got to do. Okay.